Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Sci-Fi Wise Guys podcast. I am your other cool, calm, and collected host, Anthony.
And I'm about to have an emotional breakdown because I can't send someone a text. And my name is Chris.
And your name is Chris. Oh my goodness! Why are you sending texts, man? What are you? What do you got to get done? Why aren't you here
I gotta.
100% for Star Trek?
I have to tell my boss that I can't handle doing the podcast, so I need to get back on the other podcast.
You have a pot. Are you potting in a pod?
Oh, I thought I was following the joke because in this episode,
No, I got it.
yeah, you
I
see.
got it. Yeah. No, it's a bad joke. Hi, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. Um, it is podcasts all the way down. It's holograms all the way down. We're back on our weekly live show. We've I think every season of Lower Decks we've decided to do a slightly different format of our coverage, and I like this one the most, Chris. I like this one the most because it's a live show, so if anything goes wrong, I don't have to edit it out. I'm just like, oh, it was live. Just put it out. I get to do very minimal editing. I get to put it right out, and occasionally we get people with good takes in the chat, and we get to steal those takes and make them our content, which is the American way. And I love America. In addition
Speaking of bad
to,
jokes, wow.
in addition to, hey, in addition to another great episode of Star Trek Lower Decks. We got two new very short treks to talk about. You're right, FSF Popcast. It's not theft. It's repurposing. It's recycling, which, if I recall, is what we're supposed to do.
Eh.
Yeah, I just always remember what I think it was Ninja Turtles 2. You know, the one that we didn't watch for Ninja Turtles month, where they have this sign that says "recycle, dudes" next to all the barrels of cans and bottles and whatnot. I always found that hilarious because they live in a sewer.
Well, I try to make the best of a sewer situation.
You're full of bad jokes today.
That
Love it.
wasn't a joke. It's just a thing I said out loud.
Yeah, you're a real funny dude. You're a real
It
funny
wasn't
dude.
meant to be funny. It was just this declarative
I know,
statement.
but it was funny. I'm telling you, it was funny, even though you're not, trying.
Is
We're
this
all
gonna be one of
laughing
those?
at you, Chris.
Is this gonna be one of those episodes?
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Mm-hmm.
gosh! All right, fair enough.
The next 45 minutes.
It is Friday. I guess I deserve it. So
It's your fault we're here, Chris.
is it? Is it? Someone messaged me and said, "Hey, do you want to do Lower Decks this season?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." Is it my fault for answering the question, or is it?
No, I mean, like, it's your fault we're here at 5 o'clock instead of normal 6 o'clock.
Oh, like it would matter.
No, it wouldn't really matter. It wouldn't at all. So I actually don't recall. I think Worst Contact was released first for the very short treks.
I don't know. I watched it recently. It was
I'm pretty sure.
unviewed in my list of Star Trek shorts.
Well, why don't we kick it off? How do you, wait, I'm going to kick everything off with a question, as I usually do, Christopher. How do you feel about boogers?
I mean, while a necessary part of the human condition, kind of gross. Did you know they decay your teeth?
They decay your teeth.
Yeah, they have like a chemical in them, like helps wear out the enamel on your teeth.
Helps wear out the enamel on your. So you're saying that, like, if you eat them, or like just like if you do what they were doing, which I don't even think they then in the short track, then they would ruin their teeth.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because they touch everything that they eat with their hands. So,
Yeah, that's true.
I,
I didn't see their teeth.
well, I mean, they're aliens. Maybe they have like just
Do
like a membrane that
what
like
other aliens have we seen get? I'm gonna keep using the word boogers. Get boogers in Star Trek. Do Vulcans get boogers?
I don't know. There's still like there's a lot of dust on Vulcan.
There is a lot of dust on Vulcan. I assume they have to have something.
Like
It
they
is
have
a very
a-
dusty place.
They have an inner eyelid. Maybe they have an inner
They
nostril.
have an
I
inner
don't know.
eyelid. Where did I miss that from?
So there's an episode of TOS
Oh, there it is.
where it's when George Kirk is found dead.
Mm-hmm.
There's these weird they look like boogers that are like flying around on this planet, and they attach to you and they kill you. Well, one gets stuck on Spock's back, so they like flash it with this bright light, and he's blind. But then like Deus Ex Machina, a few minutes later in the episode, he's like, "Oh no, because of the strength of the Vulcan sun, Vulcans have an inner eyelid." So he's
Cool.
blind for like 5 minutes.
And then he's back on it.
Yeah.
He's back on it.
So
So
people like Spock, unlike Tasha Yar. So when something bad happens to him, it goes away at the end of the episode.
look, people like Tasha Yar just fine.
The
just that-
producers didn't.
It's just that Tasha Yar didn't like Tasha Yar so much. She was kind of over it.
Jokes
Wasn't
are
they getting
bad,
enough airtime or
okay?
something? I don't know, man. There's a lot to unpack that we're not gonna.
Wesley, drugs make you feel good. I always channeled that scene. She's like having an acid flashback. Like she popped
She's
her
just-
back while they were talking, and she's like, "Oh, Wesley. Let me tell you something about drugs. Drugs take you away."
She's just thinking about Nam. Jeez. What a weird first season of the show. Oh, it's just so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, Snow. Data did have a thing for Tasha Yar. It was a fully functional
Yeah.
thing.
In multiple techniques. What does that
He
mean?
applied multiple techniques.
Like, does that mean he can satisfy other aliens?
I assume
Like a Temerian?
or Klingon. I don't know. And you know who you'd have to ask? Data. You'd be like, "Hey, Data, let me see."
I think I have this Condunian Singh, actually. Yo, Doc.
So back on topic, off of Data's Robo appendage, and back to Worst Contact. So in this very short trek, acting captain William Riker of the Enterprise D and Dr. Beverly Crusher and an unnamed ensign or something go down to an alien planet that just invented a warp drive and are gonna do their whole first contact thing. Like we're aliens and you're aliens, but we're cool and let's do this. And unfortunately, those aliens, they like to pick their nose and put boogers on things as part of being excited or as part of like their customs. They like to shake hands with boogers on them. There's boogers all over the walls they were touching and on the railing. It unravels over a few minutes of a slow realization that they've been walking in boogers this whole
Like-
time, and I love it. I know that these I know that the very short treks, they're not canon. They're supposed to be weird. It's supposed to be different. It's supposed to be obviously comedy, but I just like that it just went gross. It's like, hey, we're gonna give you a scene that could have been right out of TNG, and we're gonna make it as gross as possible.
Yeah, when they first, like when they're showing the warp drive or whatever, I was like, man, that's a really cool splatter paint like background they got going on. That's really neat. Wow, it's even on the handrails. And then like as soon as he sticks his finger up his nose, I went, those are boogers.
Those
Like
boogers.
like I just immediately I was like, Makes me wonder why there's not boogers all over the warp drive. Maybe it like incinerates them.
Maybe. Yeah, it's brand new, They had
God,
enough
that-
time to christen it.
God, that room had to stink. That
Who
room
knows
had to be like. I kind of want to vomit just thinking about it. Actually, I was really grossed out by this short.
You say all that, but in reality, they're alien boogers. They could be delicious.
I don't think so.
Probably not.
No.
So
No.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. The animation style really lends itself to the slow realization because they don't move a lot, so they're just
Yeah.
like because of the animation style, so they're standing there, slowly realizing
Like
that we need to get out.
and Anna Riker like was just saying like the emotion he was able to portray, just
Yeah,
like the horror.
Anna
He's like,
Riker.
and when he
What?
like so, if anyone hasn't watched it yet, 30-second elevator pitch. They go down to a planet discovered warp drive. The aliens pick their nose. They wipe their boogers on everything. Riker destroys the warp core.
Gorn attack.
Yeah.
Gets them distracted to look at a wall. It blows up. Oh, looks like you weren't ready for first contact anyway. Sorry about that. Don't
He
call
still has
us.
it in his hand.
Yeah.
Like they didn't even go, "What's that?" Yeah. Nope.
He pulls out the dustbuster and gets it done. Crusher. Don't call us. We'll call you. Out.
I don't even know if that guy's an ensign because he doesn't even have a pip.
I didn't notice. Like, I mean, why would he have a pip?
No.
He's not important.
Maybe he's like the transporter chief.
He accidentally transported us. Like, why?
No, I just mean like he's an NCO, kind of like O'Brien.
Yeah.
So
Kind of like O'Brien,
Yeah.
the most important figure in all of Starfleet history, or its future.
eh.
Holograms all the way down was the other short. I think they were just like, hey, we have to have at least one short where we hit every single niche of Star Trek, every single show, all the way down. It was just, I think, like the last short trek, or very short trek, I should say, was very like gross humor. This one was just kind of absurd because it just kept going and they just kept going.
It's like it's almost like high concept in the way
Almost,
that
yeah.
like that they start with Enterprise, they go to TNG, then they go to Deep Space Nine, and and they go to Lower Decks, then they go to Prodigy.
Which caught me off guard that Prodigy
yeah.
even showed up. Yeah.
Well, just the fact that all their animation styles kept, which is
And
pretty
they look
good.
really awkward.
Yeah, and then they went to Discovery.
Mhm.
No, they went to TOS, then Discovery,
Then
or maybe
Discovery.
I have those flipped. I don't know. And then apparently it's just Neelix watching it on a pad. So
And then are we not? Are we the computer? What are we?
no, it's great.
I think this one was great. I think it might be my favorite one because I mentioned last week, maybe the week before, that the creator of these, besides also of making the short treks that we had a few years ago, made the Adult Swim short original Too Many Cooks. And this episode, this Holograms all the way down, feels the most like Too Many Cooks, which is one of my favorite things. Like just, yeah, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just one of my favorite things. If you haven't seen
Yeah.
Too Many Cooks, it's on HBO Max. It's on YouTube. You should watch it.
You sent me the video, and as I was watching, I was like, oh, I have seen this. And then it reminded me, this is completely unrelated to Star Trek, a sitcom that came out like I want to say 2002, 2003 called The Help, and it's
Sounds
about
familiar.
a bunch of employees that work at a mansion for this rich family. And it really reminded me of that because, like, in the first episode, they introduced like 20 characters,
Oh, it's just
and they're
too
trying to
many.
give them all screen time. And it's like this is way too many people. Like Anthony Sabato Jr.'s in it, and the only thing I remember about him is he made a really crappy version of John Carter called Princess of Mars, which is definitely something that we should watch for the pod.
Put it on the list. Put it on the list. What? 20 people? Are you exaggerating? Like,
No, like
the
I
sitcom is usually capped at like
I
4 or 5
honestly
main people, and then yeah.
well, it's like so like Seinfeld is a great example. There's 4 main characters, but there's a bunch of other people that are just
Sure.
in the show for various reasons.
Right.
Like they introduce like 10 main characters in the first episode. And
Can't
it's
do
just
that.
like,
Can't do that.
how am I supposed to keep up with all these people?
Yeah.
Like I don't care about any of them already. I'm not going to care about them tomorrow. So
Awesome. You know,
yeah.
it is the most absurd, and I enjoy the absurdism. I think more than most. Like I admit that this one was probably made for me, if
Just
if
for
that
you.
makes sense.
Yeah.
They're like
It spoke to you.
that guy down there. Yeah, that's who CBS made this for. They were pointing at me for once. So those are great. I don't know how many more we have. I actually have not looked into it at all, like how many we're expected to have. They seem to be roughly coming out every week. Uh, but then we had two this week to talk about, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going on with them, but I'd watched them
Well,
forever.
Worst Contact came out 9 days ago.
Okay.
And then
So
the
we probably just missed Worst Contact last week
yeah.
during our stream. Yeah. Our bad. I'm sorry, I'm not clicking the little bell on the Star Trek YouTube channel
Well,
to get alerts.
I watched it that morning after I watched Lower Decks that Thursday, and I think
Oh,
I
okay.
watched it with the wife. Like we watched Lower Decks in the morning.
Did she enjoy the boogers? Was that her thing?
She did not enjoy them.
Not a fan.
No.
I'm gonna write that down about her for. I was just trying to figure out Christmas gifts. You know,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
no boogers.
Yeah.
We're sure on that.
I think that's that's a list that probably includes a lot of people. Like I think like the list of people that do enjoy the boogers
Oh, that's the same
is
as the list of people
is
that I'm not giving Christmas
it's like
presents to.
it's like they're exponentially smaller. You know, it's probably easier to suss out who does.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but I mean, like I'm not buying them all Christmas gifts. You know, just apparently her.
It's weird.
Yeah, that is really weird. Don't worry, I've already forgotten that I said I was going to do that. So on to that was a
What an intro.
what an intro. I feel like we've potted already. I feel kind of potted out.
Stay healthy.
So this week, Star Trek Lower Decks, Season 4, Episode 5, Empathological Fallacies, which is, I'm so glad I practiced that, Chris. Empathological Fallacies. The hedonistic outlook of a Betazoid delegation infects the crew. That's actually a really good blurb for the A story, anyways.
It's a lot of $5 words in that sentence.
There's a lot of big words,
Yeah.
and one fake one. Is it if it's a word if it's a made up word? I guess Betazoid's a fake word.
I think if it's capitalized, it counts.
You think it
like,
counts because it's
'cause
the name of
it's
a
proper.
fake thing, though. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have an English degree, and if I did, I wouldn't be doing. I would be writing about Star Trek instead of talking about it. I'm a talker. This is sitting at a 7.9 out of 10. So I think a little bit higher than the last couple of episodes if we have that comparison to look at. I like getting to see some Betazoids, not just a random Betazoid who's in Starfleet, but an actual just Betazoids, like some Roxana Troys. Yeah, if we look at that comparison here, obviously, yeah, 8.2, 7.9, 7.4. This list gets longer every week. 7.7, 7.9. So it isn't quite, it's just started. It only have 169 ratings.
Nice.
So it'll probably settle below last week's, but maybe above Cradle of Vexilon. I'm still kind of upset that Something Borrowed, Something Green is rated so low. And I know 7.7 is not low at all, but I feel like it should be so much higher.
Yeah.
So, Chris, what did you think of empathological fallacies? I said it like 7 times before I messed it up. Feel pretty good. What were your initial thoughts and opinions?
Empathological?
What did I say?
Uh,
Empath?
I don't know.
I said empathological.
I feel like every time you say it, it changes. But that's all right.
I think you're just your ears. You need to go to an ENT.
In terms of the episode in and of itself, I'm not going to toot my own horn, but I just want to point out that I have successfully guessed like where we're going every single episode so far.
Okay.
Like I talked about how in the Cradle of Exelon, I was like, we're gonna have a Tindy episode because I feel like they're really focusing on her. Boom, we get a Tindy episode. And I think in that episode, I said, hey, they're really focusing on Lynn. Like I feel like they're gonna expand that story. Boom, we get a T'Lyn episode. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna call one this week, so that way I don't ruin my streak.
No,
But
no, do it.
no,
You
I
know
said
who hasn't had an episode this season?
me.
Rutherford.
No, he had one when he was trying to get his promotion. That's
Yeah,
kind of
he had a
about
B
Rutherford.
story.
That's
He
kind
had
of
a
about
B
Rutherford.
story. Yeah.
I think all in all, when it comes to down to this episode, I think it's actually a really good addition. Um, the hedonistic tendencies of a particular Betazoid character, I think we're always looked at like, and it might just be because of Captain Picard, like his attitude would filter down to the rest of the crew, with the exception of Riker because it's his lady's mom. I feel like had he never met Deanna Troy, I think maybe those episodes would have been a little different. But um,
That's fan fiction that exists. I'm sure of it.
but
Ugh.
I feel like everyone's attitude towards Loxana has always been like either bewilderment, disappointment, or like just kind of disgust. But in this episode, it's embraced, especially by the captain at first, because she's like, "Hey, I just want everyone to have a good time. I want, there's these diplomats. When they report back to their superiors, if they say I did a great job, that person tells my boss,
Mhm, mhm.
So she's brown nosing a little bit.
A lot of it. She is a professional brown noser. She's a
Uh, she,
lieutenant commander and a brown noser.
she's very ambitious. Is the
Yeah.
one word I would use to describe the
It's
captain.
interesting to be what is it? Ambitious and lack any sort of actual talent.
It's like the opposite of Michael Scott. Uh, but uh, we get to like see kind of the crew embrace it, and that's cool. Like it's fun. It's different. And then as it turns out, spoilers in 3, 2, 1. Our character T'Lyn, who's frustrated with the Betazoids, and so she's like, "Well, I'm just going to go to my room and pout for a little bit." And she can't send a message. And apparently, her frustration, she actually gets frustrated. Boom, triggers Bendai system or Bendai syndrome, which is something that I talked about last episode.
Yeah.
And so it really just ties a really neat knot. Like, hey, these are things that could happen. And then in that episode with Sarek, when he's crying and the crew's like he's getting mad that he can't handle his emotion anymore. Like he gets like part of the crew starts fighting, and I think one of them might die. Right? Like two guys like throw themselves off a gangplank or something
I
like
don't think they
that.
die.
I know they fall through a table.
Sure. Well, yeah, if that's the rule of 90s Star Trek, if there's a table in the room, there's going to be an argument. And if there is an argument, the table is broken.
Yeah, it's
More like especially if it's a glass table. I don't know how many glass tables got broken
Yeah.
in TNG. The number is a lot. It's a very high number.
It's like the
Very
Dudley
high.
boys are there. But no, I think the episode was a lot of fun. Some of the humor, like I think like an easy way to sideline some of the characters was to transparent aluminum. It was invented by someone we don't know, Snow, but like a good way to like, hey, we're gonna focus on Mariner. Is we're gonna just essentially make Rutherford and Tindy. They're just gonna have a party in the bar, and then we're just gonna focus on T'Lyn and Beckett. So I think all in all, like we get to really focus on them, and then Boimler. I'm not surprised that he wasn't affected with the emotions with the rest of the crew. He gets to have a field day with the security team. Maybe he's going to join security. I don't know.
Maybe
So
I felt like maybe they were just further away. Like maybe there was a bubble.
it's true.
She's around it. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things I learned this episode. One, Billups is ripped. Like he
Yes.
is absolutely stacking. And then Dr. Miglimo really needs to see a therapist. Uh,
Who does the therapist
who
who
therapized
therapizes the
the therapist.
doctor heal thyself, right?
So
Jesus. Uh so I like I agree with most of what you're saying. I think the episode's pretty good. I think it's a great it's not as it's not as funny, I think, as the last episode. Um I don't think anything ever will be as funny. It's not, I don't think it's the funniest episode this season. I don't think it's the worst episode this season. I think it's just a good, fun episode of Star Trek with some comedy thrown in. I felt like the party and everyone going off. I mean, we can see in the pictures. They're. I mean, like you said, it kind of gets a little raunchy, a little hedonistic, but they already kind of made that joke with the Naked Now episode, where I mean, it wasn't really them. It was fake or whatever, but it was way more over the top. And so seeing them do it again felt like a little bit of a retread. Like we've done this.
well, they
This
don't really
is
do any like sexy time.
no,
They just take off all their clothes and try to make a pyramid,
yeah, it's
which
just
it's been a long time since I've been to one of those parties.
yeah,
So
it's just a little. It's just the type of humor, I guess. It's not the exact same scenario,
yeah,
obviously. It's just the type of humor we've already seen before, right? And security taking someone under their wing and trying to make them better, like not necessarily healing or correcting or what have you, but just trying to help somebody who's going through something is also something we've seen before. So I feel like those stories they're kind of repeats. Now the Beta Zeds being there, Beta Zoids, excuse me, being there was a lot of fun. That obviously remind me of the Troy of Roxana Troy, whom I am one of 7 people who love. I love Roxana Troy episodes. Me and my 6 other internet friends, we get together and we watch them all. No, I think she's a fantastic character, especially with all of her character progression, not just in TNG and into Deep Space Nine, which I really enjoyed. Um, yeah, we got a picture of the pyramid. Um, why isn't? Why, I don't know why. I don't know why Tendy's fully uniformed.
well, she grew up on an ice planet, right?
No, I mean there wasn't.
No,
No, she's the ice. The,
no, I was thinking of the Winter Constellation.
yeah, she's the, like. No, I think
No, I
that's
think the Andorian would be the one that wouldn't be hot because
yeah.
they're on an ice planet. Yeah.
Right, right, right. It was nice to know that Jennifer's still around, even if it's just a background character. Or I guess somebody in the middle of the pyramid still has most of their uniform still on. It's a bit ridiculous, the whole thing. Um, yeah, so I felt like a lot of this we'd already seen before, but it was fun seeing Talen go through her emotions, like work through her stuff, and try to figure everything out. In that aspect of it, the actual story of it, top notch. Really, really enjoyed it. I think I put it in the name of the stream, but why does Star Trek have so many psychic diseases? Like we're talking about Betazoids and Vulcans, right? Like these aren't exotic new aliens. They've been around for a long time, and we don't have any way of going, oh, and automatically detecting that type of thing and saying, "Oh, you're going through a thing. We need to fix this." I mean, I kind of get it with the Vulcans because they're so secretive, so prideful for a emotionalist or trying to be an emotionalist state at all times. They're very prideful. But with the Betazoids, I mean, I feel like we're aware of those diseases. Why aren't they more easily detected?
I feel like it's the same reason why Kirk has to wear glasses, right? Because he's allergic to Red Lax 5. Like, because there's no other way to cure his nearsightedness, right?
Sure.
Or his farsightedness. It's it's Worf as strong as he needs to be.
Yeah.
It's just a vehicle for the episode to continue. And I think maybe like the whole there's some meta context with this episode. Like they're making fun of that.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
Bendai syndrome affecting a Vulcan of such the young age of 60.
I'm only 62.
Yeah. And I want to circle back to what you said about the security team helping a crew member going through something. Like, are you referring to when Rutherford joined them? Because I think that's a little different.
It's a little different.
Like,
It's not that these are exact retreads. I'm not trying to say that's a one for one. I'm just saying it's very similar. It's in the same vein. Yeah.
I guess I just don't see it.
Yeah.
Like, because I think that's a side of Star Trek security that we've never seen.
No, not
Like,
until Lower Decks for sure.
ever.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen, like, because Worf was always super serial. Um, you know, yeah, he was making bets when it comes to, you know, inner ship martial arts competitions. But for the most part, like, he just took his job really seriously. And then the other chief of security that I'm aware of was Constable Odo, who is the exact opposite of what I would refer to as jovial. So like seeing like, and I know it's played up for laughs because this is a comedy show, but like I feel like there's a real truth to when Shaq says like my job is to protect the ship, and sometimes that means protecting the crew, like their mental health. And I thought that was really neat. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Odo liked to help others and lend an ear because he wanted to know everything about them, because he wanted to investigate them. Snow.
Well, I think the difference also, if we're gonna get off on a tangent, is one is the chief of security. Speaking of Worf, on a starship,
Yeah.
on for in a military organization. I mean, yeah, there are civilians, but right, they're all related to somebody on board. And Odo is he's running security forces for a waste station in space. With everyone
Right.
coming in, so they have very different approaches to things.
Yeah. I mean,
And
I
then you
just
compare that to Tuvok, who's more war, but he's just he's more. It's just different.
I mean, I feel like Odo would act the same on the Enterprise as he would
Probably.
on Terok Nor.
Well, that's just
So,
how he does his thing, man.
sure.
I don't think he would ever join Starfleet. I think he doesn't like root beer enough.
That's fair.
Yeah, I get what you're. I'm not gonna argue.
Yeah. Oh no, I was
Yeah,
just offering
but no,
a
absolutely.
different
I
perspective.
don't disagree.
Yeah.
It's just how it landed with me while I was watching it. Still a lot of fun. It's not like, I mean, no episode of Lower Decks has been skippable or anything like that. And it's definitely not the weakest episode this season. It's a lot of fun.
Did you
I
know?
really really enjoyed it.
Did you know that Caitlins used to hunt
No, I had
betazoids
no idea.
and eat them?
Yeah, that's that was a little weird. Just a little. They walk in and say, "Oh, I didn't know you were bringing me a buffet." Like the fact that it was just like centuries ago, and they're making jokes about it is nuts. Absolutely nuts. Good on them, I guess. Good on them.
Oh, I didn't know.
Overall, how do you feel about where this episode lands in the season?
I think what was it, 7.9,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think that's pretty fair. It's not a perfect episode. I mean, no episode's perfect. I think it's a great bottle. I guess the voice actor for Dr. Ta'an was in Supernatural. I didn't know that.
Everyone was in Supernatural. It ran for
Yeah.
30 years. It was
Apparently,
a rite of passage.
apparently I was in Supernatural. I didn't know.
Yeah, we were both background actors. You don't remember? You get hit in the head by the werewolf.
But I mean, I think if you're asking me to
And the
rate
producer is showing us a screen now where it shows that Supernatural is actually only 15 years, and I know that was a joke.
Yeah.
That's what we call
Yeah.
hyperbole.
yeah, get it together. I think it like in the Lower Decks pantheon, like where it lasts, I ultimately might be forgettable. But I think that it's going to open up some doors to some really interesting things later, because they show the ship that's been disintegrating
Or
all
whatever.
these ships. Interestingly enough, it hasn't done it to a human ship.
Not that we've seen.
So just
no.
Vulcans, Klingons, Orions.
It could have. They could have done more damage that they haven't shown.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, we haven't seen them do it to a human ship yet.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm wondering if maybe there's going to be humans on it.
Uh,
So
the uh, the the best the best moment of this episode is 100% when they go onto the bridge of the cloaked Romulan ship, and everyone's disappointed that the Cerritos turned away
yeah,
from the. Oh, duh! What did you expect?
yeah.
Let's go to let's go to sector 87. We'll lurk there.
Yeah. Was that Rom Yarlin right there, right in the middle? The
No
blonde?
idea. Nah, they've shown more than one blonde.
Hmm.
Who knows? Who knows? But it was a nice cutaway gag. Very funny. Because they always are. Why are they always lurking in the neutral zone? How many warbirds do they have? And why are they always there?
I don't know. I feel like
Do
it's
they not do anything else? Do they have no other borders? This is it?
well, I mean, the neutral zone's pretty big, right? Because it spans
Sure.
an entire sector of space.
Mm-hmm.
So I suspect that, like, I guess the difference is like, because I don't want to sound reductive, but space is big,
Oh, is
right?
it? Yeah.
So like Federation starships they discover new planets and new species and life forms within their own bounds constantly. Like they're not hanging out in the Klingon Empire or
Sure.
the Gamma Quadrant or whatever, discovering new stuff. They're doing it at home.
Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
we have new species at home, right? And I think what it is probably the Romulans have crazy long range sensors.
Mm.
I'm sorry, they have crazy long range sensors. So
Oh,
whenever,
sensors, even the more powerful version of the
yeah,
sensor.
so whenever a starship even gets within sniffing distance of the neutral zone, like a warbird is just primed and ready. Like they're always
Mm.
cloaked for whatever reason, and they're just like, "Cool, let's go and hang out." And in case it goes down,
We're there to go
we're going to be
down.
there.
Yeah.
I suspect that's how it works. Is that they're just like their patrols, like they don't have 5-year ongoing missions. It's
Right.
just like, hey, I mean, I don't know what I don't even think they have days of the week. I don't know how it works over there. But it's like, hey, it's Friday, it's us and then the Tabacula Dederidex class warbirds.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
patrolling
Oh,
this
it's
part of the
always
sector, we're patrolling this part of the sector, and we'll meet, exchange our information, then go on our separate ways and lurk in
it's
other
never
places.
it's never just one.
Yeah.
Where there's one, there's three.
Yeah.
Where two or more are gathered.
Yeah. What was Commander, not Talak, but Moloch?
Something like that. Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds right. Oh goodness. Overall, I kind of agree with you. The 7.9 feels about right. It's definitely not the weakest episode this season, but I have to say this season has been fantastic. I'm eager after this season's over. I might rewatch all of them because I feel like this might be the best season so far. I've definitely laughed more, and I like that. It could just because it's fresh, like they're all lieutenant, junior grades now, and so it's feeling like they're getting new problems and they're doing new things. Took a few seasons to get there. Well, for Boimler, it took, you know, and for Mariner, I think both of them have gotten promotions, been
Yeah.
demoted
I
for one reason
refused.
or another,
Yeah.
and then now they're back. So I'm eager to see where it goes. It just feels fresh. I really, really like it. Um, the next episode. Do we have the title of the next episode? I believe we do.
It's something about Parth Ferengi. By the way,
It
Commander
is
Tamalak was the guy I was
Tamalak.
thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. I can't see the bottom of the screen.
Parth Ferengi's Heart Place.
Parth Ferengi's Heart Place. Okay. I'm going to put you on the spot. Predictions, Chris. I have one prediction if you want me to go first.
Well, let me Google one thing before I do a prediction.
Okay, well, I'm going to give mine first, Chris.
Okay, go ahead.
There's going to be a Ferengi in this episode.
Okay. Well, Armin Shimmerman is still alive, so I'm going to
Yeah.
assume that it's Quark.
He was in the he voiced in the Very Short Trek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Which
Was that
he looked great in that animation style, by the way. The Deep
Was
Space Nine would be great in that.
was that supposed to be Garrick?
Yeah,
The guy I was
Garrick,
talking
I
to?
think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. uh, Yeah, no, that would be amazing. That would be fantastic. Or any known character really. But I'm also down for new. Like we can get some new. That's perfectly fine. I know that Lower Decks is kind of straddling the let's show some new things and let's pay homage to what's established, and they're straddling pretty well. So hopefully we get a mix. I'm looking. I love the Ferengi. I think they're fantastic. So I'm looking forward to it. Um,
Can I share my
this
two favorite Armin Shimmerman um, trivia pieces for you?
so we're gonna become an Armin Shimmerman
Sure. One,
podcast.
he
Yeah.
plays a character in Starfield,
Mm,
which is red. And my
okay.
second piece of trivia about him is that he played Andrew Ryan in the BioShock game,
Yeah.
who's supposed to be kind of a representative of Ayn Rand, or Ayn Rand, I'm sorry, which is he's also kind of an interpretation of what's his face? He's the guy that made the Spruce Goose. The Spruce Goose. I always forget
Oh
his name.
shoot, I know who you're talking about, but
Um,
I could not name them.
Howard Hughes.
Howard Hughes. Yeah.
And then Howard Hughes also inspired Andrew House from Fallout New Vegas, who was voiced
Sure.
by Renee
Yes.
Odo.
Yeah. The yeah.
That I always thought it was funny that like two characters, two rivals in a show, voiced two such similar characters inspired by each
Sure.
other. So I always thought that was great. So
Are you trying to tell me that there's politics in video games?
uh yes.
Anyways, so by the time you're hearing this, we've started our horror and space month. Give it to us, Chris.
Horror in space.
In space. So we'll be doing that for the month of October. We got 5 science fiction horror movies that take place not on Earth, at least for the most part. I realized after the fact we just recorded one that kind of takes place on Earth in the last bit. But all is forgiven because we are the arbitrators of the truth as far as the podcast is concerned. So we're doing that November. We'll be back to our normally scheduled science fiction and science fiction adjacent movie, television show, and short film reviews, at least until the end of our season. If you have suggestions for anything we should watch or review, whether because it's really good or because it's really bad, you can email us sci-fi-wiseguys@gmail.com or hit us up on any of the social medias. Leave a comment on this YouTube video if it's on the YouTube. Hit us up on X or Twitter or whatever, or Instagram or Blue Sky. Blue Sky? Is it? That's what it is? Or is it Blue Sky Social? Do I have to say the whole thing? I don't know. I don't care. But anyway, you can get it to us. Smoke signals. I go outside sometimes. We'll see it.
Go outside. Discord was broken this morning.
I heard. I slept in because I had the day off. So I woke up and I was like, "Oh, Discord was broken this morning. That sucks for everyone who had to get up in the morning." Went right back to sleep.
Aubergenois.
Did you got it?
Yeah.
Say it one more time.
Renee Aubergenois.
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 I will not remember how to pronounce it the
R.I.P.
next time we talk about it. Yes.
Stay healthy. Stay hydrated. And don't bottle up your emotions, because it may cause other people to go absolutely crazy and destroy a replicator.
I said regurgitate it.
This doesn't taste like it's been in my mother's mouth at all.
Bye, guys.